Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today because a backstabbing little bitch got exactly what was coming to her.
Hey guys, we're gonna talk about every single plant that I murdered in 2020. I apologize in advance because I'm practically gonna go into their whole life story, me trying to save them, and then them eventually dying on me. Okay, let's start with the first one, Fernda, my mother Fern. She was a fern that lived in my Frida pot right here. She was doing amazing the first month, so I thought people were exaggerating about ferns, about how they always kill them. And I was like, psh, my girl is doing amazing, and I spoke too soon.
Okay guys, so if you have slugs, I think that's a slug, not a worm, but maybe take notice where you put your plants, because I noticed every single plant that I put near the door, like they end up with a slug in the morning. Slugs like coming in at night. This one got a slug when I left her here overnight. This is the first time I'm leaving her here. When my Monstera was over here when I first bought her, she had a big slug in her. Same with my Pepperoni, had a big slug, which is weird because I've never seen any YouTubers talking about slugs. It's always about aphids or fungus gnats. But slugs are nasty, yo. Do you see that guy? They are like the nastiest thing to pull out other than a worm. I actually don't kill slugs. Slugs are so cute. And I just put these guys outside, kind of far away from the house. There's lots of dirt outside. I can't kill this guy. He's too cute. Fungus gnats, on the other hand, they can go to hell. I'm gonna repot her because she has like mold. I watered her yesterday so you can see how wet her soil is. And that's probably why, probably due to overwatering, even though they say that ferns should be like constantly moist. Some of my plants I wait till they're like 90% dry, and a lot of them can handle that. But with her, I wait till maybe she's like 40 or 50% dry, and she's been liking that, but I have no idea if it's humidity or watering. So I'm pretty scared to see if there's any more bugs. Yeah, other than that slug I found this morning, she looks fine. It doesn't look like she has any bugs in her. I wonder if I could just keep this section, like cut this guy off. You feel me? I'm just testing here. So I'm gonna put them in that smaller pot right now. I will update you guys on Fernda.
3 days later.
I honestly don't know if she's going to make it. All of these guys, they are dying. You can see they're all brown and crispy. Maybe these guys will pull through. Who knows? I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I'm really hoping she pulls through. I think she's done. I think Fernda's done. She's my only plant that grows like mold. She does kind of look like she's still alive, but I have a feeling she's not going to pull through. That's the end of my fern journey. Rest in peace, Fernda.
So would I buy another fern? Yes. One, definitely another mother fern. I personally like her leaves compared to all the other ferns, and I think she's the one that looks best in my Frida pot. Two, she was only $6, and three, now I have a greenhouse and a humidifier. So I feel like I have better supplies for her this time, but then if I do get one and she dies, then I'm probably done with ferns, but I might give her one more chance. Next we have Voss, my beautiful Calathea white fusion.
Sadly, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to Voss because she had spider mites the other day. I look at my plants thoroughly every single day, and 2 days ago I saw little spider mites crawling on her. So I watched a video on YouTube, and she mixed an alcohol mixture plus water plus dish soap. She said you don't do that once, you do it a couple times till they leave. But I don't know if I can keep doing that again, because as you can see, like all her tips, every single one of her tips started curling in and browning after I did that alcohol mixture. And I did it really thoroughly. I spent like over 30 minutes cleaning, wiping down with a makeup brush. Luckily enough, one of the nurseries near us, they have a big stock of these white fusion Calatheas left.
I'm gonna have to cut in right here because I was so pissed and sad when I saw that footage. Seeing how Voss was then, when I thought she was dying, she looks so much better dying and right about to be thrown away than my new white fusion Calathea. So this is the new one I have. I feel like she's just not as full and not as pretty and shiny and colorful as the one I threw away, and that just broke my heart. Also with that Calathea, that was my first encounter with spider mites, so of course I was freaking out and didn't know what to do. And guess what? My new Calathea white fusion got spider mites a few days ago, and it sucks because the second time around I wasn't as scared because I kind of got the feel for them and like what to do. So with my older Calathea, I did the soap, water, and alcohol spray, and even if that was the result, her just having like brown tips, I could have lived with that. And that just makes me so sad because I could have still had my original Calathea with me if I knew what I was doing the first time around. But with her, I just sprayed some neem oil onto just some tissue. Usually spider mites are underneath here. Like, it sucks because I'm always constantly checking underneath, and then the one time I forget, like that's when the spider mites decide to come over. And it's so annoying because Calatheas are like the bougiest of plants. But with Voss, she wasn't like that at all. She was so easy. She wasn't browning. She didn't need humidity. Like, she was so beautiful. So if this one dies, I might give a Calathea White Fusion one more chance, but I'm going to make sure that I get it from where I bought Voss. It was on an online company.
It sucks because, you know, I don't want to get rid of her, but at the same time, I can't really give her to anyone because I don't want to infest people's plants with more spider mites. I'm gonna sadly have to say goodbye to her. My variegated string of hearts also had spider mites, and I used neem oil and I cleansed all her leaves, and she's perfectly fine. There's nothing crawling on her, and it's more easier to spot stuff on her because she's small.
So speaking of that variegated string of hearts, yes, I killed her too. So I noticed that after I did the neem oil spray, some of her leaves started getting mushy and eventually died off. String of hearts is more of a succulent type plant, so they prefer dry over wet. And I noticed that some of her leaves didn't like that. And it got even worse when I waited a week and did another neem oil spray just for safety measures, just so the spider mites wouldn't come back. And she did not like that. So my only option left was to propagate them. So I bought some sphagnum moss, followed every video I could. So first is to get your moss moist. When you get your moss moist, make sure you squeeze out the excess. And then it was to keep it in the Tupperware. So I did that, and I think a week later, again, all her leaves just rotted and they were all squishy and they died. So the next thing I did, I kept her in that same Tupperware, but I just poked some holes through her lid and kept her in my greenhouse, and she still died. And the last thing I did that did work was I put my last cutting in the moss. I put her in the Tupperware in a Ziploc bag. I got these instructions. I was looking at variegated string of hearts on Etsy, and people gave all their instructions on how to take care of them, so I followed what they did. And they said to put it in a plastic bag, leave a little bit of the plastic bag open, and then once a week take it out and like give it air. So she was thriving. I've kept her in my greenhouse in this plastic bag with a little bit of this open. And the time that I took her out and placed her here, next day I went to check on her, and I was like, okay, where the is my string of hearts? And there was a snail in there, and he ate my string of hearts. So I closed it up. The slug is still in here. I'm pretty sure he died. That was about a week and a half ago that I closed this up because I did not want him crawling out of the Ziploc. That was the most frustrating plant. I am definitely going to get another variegated string of hearts, but this specific one, they were selling it at a nursery, and I made my best friend come with me. It was at 8 in the morning. It was a 30-minute drive away, and there was a long ass line to get some variegated string of hearts, and you can only buy one each. So I made my best friend get one. So I had both of them together in this pot, and then I didn't tell her. And a few days ago, she came over and she was like, "Oh, how's the string of hearts?" And I was like, "The what?" And I was like, so you see what happened here was, I killed it, but it wasn't really a big deal to her still. Like, that made me so sad because I put so much effort into finding and grabbing this plant, and I still killed her. So I think next time when I do get a variegated string of hearts, I think I'll wait closer to summer, because again, during winter, like that's when all the spider mites come out and they love dryness. And string of hearts isn't really a moist, humidity-loving plant. Okay, speaking of succulent, next we have my bear paw.
So this guy, as you can see, is not doing so well, and it just breaks my heart because he's one of my favorites because it literally looks Like those are bear paws and they're furry and fuzzy. Seriously, such a perfect plant, but I noticed that I do not do well with succulents. He was so pretty. I'll put a before picture right here. But as you can see, he has these little brown spots. So first I thought it was because he was super dry. That's technically when I started noticing those brown spots, was when he was really dry. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm not watering him enough. And I was kind of treating him like a cactus, because in my mind, cactus, succulent, same thing. So I watered him, yet now I can't tell if it's due to over or underwatering, because after I found that out, I think I overdid it and now he's overwatered. I feel like I'm eventually gonna kill him. Like I said, which breaks my heart because he is like the cutest plant ever. I wish you could see how furry and how like you could just tickle his foot right there, his bear paw. I'm gonna be pretty sad if this goes in my plants I've killed video, and if you see this right now, then I probably killed him.
Well, I didn't kill him just yet. This is what he looks like now. Look how sparse. Again, like I didn't technically kill him, but he might as well be dead. He's so sparse and his paws are like thinner now. So I think I'm just gonna give this to my best friend because her mom's like a succulent lover and she's good at taking care of succulents. Bear paw, I would definitely buy him again, but that's only if I become like a succulent queen. If I'm 90% sure I know I can let him thrive. I don't know what it is with me and succulents, but they hate me. Okay, last but not least, my Butterwort Victoria. My first and probably my last carnivorous plant. Keep her here in my little greenhouse. So again, there is an asterisk near her because I did not kill her yet. I was gonna make a whole separate video all about her, but I decided to throw it in here. This is what she looks like now. So she actually is kind of doing good. Again, I'm putting her in here even though she's not technically dead because I know for sure I'm going to murder her.
So the first thing I'll do is fill my pot with soil all the way to the top. Now we go ahead and I like to take my tweezers and just jam them right down in the middle of the pot, pretty far down there, and just kind of twirl them around a little bit.
Now it's time for the plant. Oh, she's so tiny. I did not expect her to be that tiny.
What you want to do is just take the roots
Her roots are so small compared to the guy's plant.
and gently guide them down into that hole that you've made. So now what I like to do is just go around the plant. Just poke your tweezers in there. That'll collapse the hole, collapse the air pocket that you have. I'll take the spray bottle. Make sure it's set to the stream setting instead of the spray setting. And just go all the way around the plant and kind of do the same thing. We want to make sure that the roots get really good contact with the soil. We also eliminate any air pockets.
So this is Victoria. Hopefully she eats a lot of fungus gnats and fruit flies for us, even though she's super, super tiny.
Two weeks later.
She started turning slowly green and I was like, okay, maybe she's just going dormant, because apparently they go dormant in winter. It is not winter. She's not sticky at all. Like she could never catch a fly. And I was so confused on watering because everyone's info was different. Someone said you need to water around the plant. Someone said it's okay if you pour water on top because the dew will wash off the water like during the new day. But I actually took her out because I messaged the company and I was like, okay, what do I do? And they said the soil has to be always moist. Maybe sit her like in rocks, kind of like what I'm doing with my fern. Like I sit her in rocks that are soaked with water. I had to take her out because I made a drainage hole. And then when I took her out, her roots were like brown. And I was like, crap, is she dead? Are her roots rotted now because they were brown? I don't know if she's dead. I mean, she's not curling up or anything and the soil is moist. Maybe it's because she's also bougie and she needs distilled water like my Calathea.
2 days later.
So I was about to give her her distilled water and she just came out of this. I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to make her sit in water, like not her complete plant, just the root. This is probably how I'll kill her, but I'll make sure her leaves aren't touching. I'll try to just get the root. I'll put it in a plastic bag for some humidity. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna give up.
3 days later.
I put her back and I put her in some distilled water so she can keep moist. These blackened tips, they were new And then now the one in the middle of the blackened tips are growing. She's constantly growing. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to say torturing her. I am not treating her right. I am mistreating her. I'm putting her outside in the burning sun. I don't understand what she wants. And yet she still seems to be growing.
No, I would not buy another Butterwort. If I was going to buy a carnivorous plant, I would probably go with a more beginner one like a sundew, but not her. Even though she was so pretty, I would not buy her again. Okay guys, that is it for the video. If you haven't killed any plants this year, good for you. But as you can see, I've killed quite a few. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one.